Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. And hello to, let me see, Fancy Fancy. Thank you so much for being first. Um, oh, and Lord, forgive me for laughing. Why did I find a video that shows a bunch of little bulbous head kids running through a fun house of mirrors, a little house of mirrors? Why did I see that? That's not nothing I should ever see. With their little bulbous heads ricocheting off all those mirrors, running top speed. Even the sound of it was more than I could take. I should never see anything like that. I just shouldn't. Um, but that being said, God, that tickled me. Their little bulbous heads just ricocheting off of those off of those mirrors. It made such a loud noise. Would you like to hear it? Oh, God, forgive me. And they just run at full speed. And the bad thing is that the parents, the parents were telling them run. The parents were telling them run. Why are you telling your kid to run full speed into a mirror? I mean, you. I just shouldn't have seen that. That's all. I'll let you hear it for yourself. Oh, Jesus. Oh, right, we're literally going. Okay, run, go, run. You said it. Okay. Uh-oh. Go, Bubba. This way. Why did they tell those kids? Why are the parents telling them run? Go get them. Why is the parents encouraging that behavior? I mean, the thing is, these are children, and their parents are telling them to run top speed, and they just smack their little heads. and, you, and they just laugh and they fall on the floor. I mean, this didn't knock them back about 3 feet, and you still laughing. I just don't understand why they're telling them kids to do that. Oh, all right. Let me stop. But those little kids, they start building momentum by the time they get down the hall.
You can't get up? Oh,
Jesus. Oh. We're literally going. Okay, run, go, run. Set up. Okay. Uh-oh. Go, Bubba. This one. That's just so bad. That's just so bad. Whew, that's so bad. Mm-mm-mm. They shouldn't be encouraging them kids like that. Somebody could get hurt. My face hurt. Oh God, my face is hurting. Oh, woo, Lord. They're like, run. Go get, go get them. Run. Oh Lord. Oh. Ooh, my sides are hurting. Oh, I'm so sorry, y'all. Oh boy. My mm, mm, mm. My face is hurting. Ah, okay. Okay. I'm back. Ugh, run. Uh, uh, uh. Mm, mm, mm. Oh, excuse me, y'all. Uh-huh. Oh. Mm, 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 mm. Oh boy. All right, I'm okay now. Oh, run! You could hear their little heads hitting that glass. That's terrible. That's terrible. They ought not let them kids do that. Oh boy. Mm-mm-mm. All right. Now, what was I talking about? Oh, I don't think I talked about anything yet, did I? I shouldn't have saw that though. Um, Sadly, Pope Francis passed away earlier, Monday, about 7:30 in the morning. They speculate that it may have been a stroke, a cerebral hemorrhage, or but poor man had been suffering a lot lately, and it seemed as me being a layperson, I kind of thought maybe because of the but he always had something respiratory going on. But I thought maybe because of the lung infection that they were like giving him a cocktail of um, steroids to try to beef up his immunity and fight the infection. So it seemed as though people were concerned Sunday, well, kind of after the fact, I suppose, because when he went out to the people, he was not wearing his usual oxygen um, that he had been seen with, quite a bit. So um, maybe he knew it was, close to that time. Some people say he seemed to fight for his life so that he could survive long enough for Easter. It's kind of hard to say. Um, But yeah, not exactly the news that I was expecting this morning. There was no like long drawn out bedside vigil or anything like that. But they said that he woke up to his alarm, and in about an hour and a half, 2 hours, he slipped away. So, um, yeah, very, very unfortunate for the world, that is, because did you guys know that he was making phone calls to Gaza every day? He wanted the people of Gaza to know that they were not forgotten. So he actually was making phone calls. And I don't know if most people are aware of this, but there are still Christians that live in Gaza. There are definitely still Christians that live in Gaza, and they have been punished right alongside um, the Arab Muslims that live in Gaza. So that's the forgotten part about these conflicts that have taken place over the last, what, 70, 80 years, is that whether you're Christian or Muslim, um, depending on the situation, you're likely to suffer right alongside each other um, because of all of the conflict. Also, um, well, he was just a very well rounded individual. And the world is going to miss him and miss the things that he's been fighting for all these years. So, um, yeah, that happened today. And this, I took a snapshot of Saint Peter's Basilica, the square at Saint Peter's Basilica. This is what it looks like right now. Let me see what time it is. I did this about 15 minutes ago, and I'm going to look at the local time for Rome. I'm guessing it's like 7:30 a.m. maybe. Where's my world clock? And do I have Rome? No, I don't have Rome anymore. Well, it's got to be about the same as Budapest. So probably it's not even 7 a.m. yet. Let me see. Let me add Rome back here. Rome. It's a Rome. Italy. Oh, I got to put Rome. There we go. Rome, Italy. And what time is it? It is 6:50 a.m. So, yeah, 6:50 a.m. So I probably did that. It was about 6:30 a.m. Yeah, about a 7 hour. Yeah, not about. It is 7 hours difference between here and there. So, oh, thank you very much, Lydia Washington. All right, now let's go on here. Here is a young image of Pope Francis. He was a younger man at one time. Here he's not young, but born the 17th of December, 1936, and slipped into glory the 21st of April, 2025. Um, Now, would you say George? Yeah, George Mario Bergo, Bergo, well, let me see, Bogoglio, Borgilio, Borgoglio, Borgoglio, Borgoglio. Yeah. So George, not Jorge, right? George. But yeah, that's his birth name. And there he is riding on public transportation. One of the things that he insists upon is that he would never visit a country and ride inside of some, you know, elaborate vehicle. He was very much about being in an economy car. And another thing that was important to him is when the cross that he wore, the crucifix that he wore, his was not made of gold. It wasn't even gold plate. It was iron. He wore an iron cross. And take a look here. Like I said, he wasn't always an old man. He was a young man at one time. This is when he first, gosh, I wonder how old he is there. 18, 20? Well, whatever it is, he is a very young man there, very handsome man too. Born in Argentina. Born in Argentina. And he's the first pope from South America. Um, and let's see, only the second pope something they said, I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, so that is just a little bit about him. Now, I love this photo right here. I love this photo where the dove comes and kind of, I guess, grasp his finger. How did the dove know that he, oh, by the way, you can see his iron cross there. How did the dove know that he is like the most important person in the square? How did the dove know that? I mean, was the dove trained? Was it divine intervention? Hard to say, but I love that photo. And because I love it so much, I decided to do that. How do you like that one? How do you like that one? I thought that was really special. But wait, I got another one. How about that? Too much? He probably wouldn't like that himself. But I thought that one was pretty cool. Or how about this one? How about this one? Now, I love that one because the dove just kind of goes right into that sunburst there. Or this one. This one, the quality of the image behind him is not great, but it's as though the dove is saying, okay, it's time. Yeah. And of course, conspiracy theories. Oh, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that. Super cool. I like that one a lot, and so on. Thank you very much. There's conspiracy theories because just the day before, the spawn of Satan showed up. And as we all know, the Pope has been very critical of the Trump administration. And there's a lot of people that are comparing that visit to Liz Truss, who seemed to, you know, have the very odd luck of seeing the Queen just before, you know, her passing. How long did it take? 1 day, 2 days? Whatever the case may be. Now, see, the Queen wanted to be in London, but they would not let her be in London. She thought it would be a big fuss for everyone should she die in Balmoral, but they would not let her go home. So she was in Balmoral. So Liz Truss, and I believe this may be the first time that this has ever happened, actually went to Balmoral for her first audience with the Queen as Prime Minister. So kind of sketchy. By the way, you guys, I don't think we'll be here more than an hour. And of course, there's this AI generated image of Charles III. I gave him an interesting background. I selected that background for him. I thought it had just the right kind of spark. Yeah, this is the kind of background for, you know, the world's greatest dad. I'm being sarcastic. But originally, that is the photo right there. Your Majesty, J.D. Vance is here to see you, and Liz Truss is with him. There's a parody account which is called KGB News. Um, get it? KGB News. And they posted that AI image. So I decided to, you know, reimagine it where the reigning monarch is cast straight to hot places. Yeah, I'm working out some frustration. Forgive me. So there you go. Either a staircase to heaven or a monarch on their way to hell. Either way, you never know what can happen. So, cheers. Now, there's a possibility of history. Cardinal Peter Turkson and the Cardinal Louis Antonio Tago are the top contenders in the Vatican to become the next pope. So these two are the top contenders. Could make history. Notre Dame says that the next pope will be a man of dark skin. That is what Notre Dame said. So watch this space. Or it could be one of these guys. Wait, is that the same guy? Yeah. It could be one of these guys. So just wait and see. It's going to be interesting. Is the world ready? Ooh, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Well, it may not be the first time. Just like with Queen Charlotte, it may not necessarily be the first time. Okay, me and the professor have fallen out, you guys, in the most epic way. Um, mm, mm, mm. This man worked my last nerves. He tore my last pair of drawers. I mean to tell you, when I say I was outraged, I was completely outraged. He decided to take all of those talking points from the tabloid media and make this horrendous video where he accuses Meghan of using plagiarism. Why did you ask? You didn't, but I'm going to tell you. It was about the Pearl, Meghan's animated series Pearl, which really was inspired by the Tig. By the Tig. And Pearl, of course, was, you know, a character who would find her voice, if you will. Also, Pearl would somehow travel through time to meet some of the feminist icons. Now, all right, there are so many animated series, there are so many children's books, there's so many everything out there that have very similar themes. Did you guys know that the author of To Kill a Mockingbird, I think it was To Kill a Mockingbird, in order to I take that back. I believe it was Gone with the Wind. In order to pressure her to sell her rights to the studio, they convinced her that they were in development of a very similar story. And because of that, before she, had absolutely no way of getting as much money for the book, she went ahead and gave it to them to develop into a movie, right? That happens all the time. There are so many times when there is a movie coming out, right? And when word gets around about the particular storyline, other movies are in development. But one thing that rarely ever happens is that someone has any legal recourse, right? They vet these things with the best lawyers possible. So, that being said, there's always going to be some form of overlap. He even admitted that himself. There's only so many ways that you can tell the history of the world, or you can create any type of series or sitcom or whatever, the good versus evil, the antagonist, the protagonist. There's only so many ways you can do it. When you cast a series of characters like the Golden Girls, or any other series, there's always going to be the very naive one, probably the blonde. There's always going to be the bossy one. There's always going to be the one who's hopping in everybody's bed. That's just the way it is. So the idea that two women or 1,000 women have come up with the idea of a character that is traveling the world and meeting interesting people, been there, done that. But it's your version, your interpretation, excuse me, that defines or differentiate what you're doing from the next person. But there's always going to be that um, person that says, "Oh, that was my thing." As a matter of fact, one of the more famous ones he mentioned in this conversation, J.K. Rowling's, who has made a fortune in her time as a author. Now, there's other stories out there very similar, very similar. It's kind of like a story that's been told over and over again. And I guarantee you, this person who made this animated, well, actually, she wrote books. She's trying to get her um, character animated. It seemed like something I've seen before. I don't know how different it is from someone else's work. But when this woman heard about Pearl, right? And her character is named, now the timetable is a difference of a couple years, I think. Um, but the name Pearl means something to Meghan. We all know that. A lot of phrases mean something to Meghan. Like as ever. That is something that Meghan has said for years. And I'm pretty sure the as ever was in no way connected to a clothing line in New York City. As ever, New York. As ever is very common. It's almost incredible for me to believe that no one actually did a copyright on it before Meghan. It was there, it was available, she took it. The person with the clothing line did not use it. As ever, NYC. Now, indirectly, that person is going to benefit like crazy from the whole conversation about Meghan um, doing a copyright on As Ever. He mentions the city symbol for Mallorca, saying that Meghan plagiarized that. At the time, we showed, not just myself, but other content creators, we showed like probably 100 examples of corporate logos where the design means something to that company and it just so happens to look like another company. This looks like this, that looks like that. There's no such thing as original thought. None of us have it. And that's why social media is so dangerous, because so many people go down the rabbit hole of believing that what I say or what the next content creator says or what you heard from your neighbor has no influence on you, that we've all just come up with this on our own. Now, how do we reach a conclusion? How do we find our voice? How do we articulate how we feel? Hopefully, we have taken examples of both sides of a situation, multiple sides of a situation, and come to a logical conclusion. Some people don't do that. Some people see someone they can identify with and take everything they say word for word, and boom, that's how they feel about it. Which is why I tell you what, how many times have you heard me say, my voice should not be the only voice you're listening to. There's other people out there far more qualified, 10 times more intelligent than myself, that you need to listen to them, even if you don't like them, even if they're not your cup of tea. Are they giving you quality work? Then listen to that person. It is very important for us as humans to have a well-rounded vision of things so that we don't, just get stuck. We need to grow and evolve. We need to hear other voices. So there are times when the professor gets things right, and on occasion you start thinking, "Oh my God, you're way more intelligent than that. You This is very small of you to talk this way." I don't know why he does that. I think intellectually he's just a very lazy man. He obviously is a very well educated man, but I think sometimes he's just lazy. He's cranking out content and he's not being um, conscious or careful of where the information is coming from. This man is like a sponge to the tabloids, a sponge. There are times when he's epic, he's a genius. And then there's other times when he's an absolute idiot. So I I don't comment that often on anything, but I felt compelled to do so today because, as I said, this man then worked my last nerve. Let me see here. So I said, Professor, lifted these talking points directly from the Daily Mail. You're overly influenced by right wing rags. Please do better. He actually gave me a heart. I couldn't believe it. It took him quite a while before he finally got to it, but he gave me a heart. Other people said, I so agree. Can't trust him. Here's another one. He's a bit of an establishment toff at heart. Another one, laugh emojis. Agreed, still treating the royal family with velvet gloves. Another, yes, it is very sad and so wrong. And here's another one, the Daily Fail. Imagine being a professor and dignifying the Daily Fail. And then and some of these people I think are squatties for sure. Someone else says your bias and dislike against the Duchess is uncalled for. You should be ashamed, Professor Tim. Your attempt to tarnish the Duchess is not going to work. Now, that was one comment. The other comment I made, I said, this is an attempt from the Pearl Power author to use the Duchess of Sussex name to muscle her way into Netflix. Meghan's concept involved Pearl meeting feminist icon. Pearl Power seems to explore issues like the girl with two dads and other similar topics. There's even one, what was that? It was one where she met Billie Jean King. Nothing wrong with that. But I think you could easily see how these pearls were going in different directions. Okay, so what did I leave off? The girl with two dads and other similar topics. When Netflix pulled the plug, that should have ended Mel Elliott's silly complaint. She's likely trying to bring more attention to her work by making wild, unsubstantiated accusations. It appears her claim to the Pearl character seems to be quite safe at this point. Give it a rest. And what I meant by that it seems to be quite safe at this point, give it a rest. Netflix pulled the plug on the project. Not just Pearl, but Netflix said, we are not going into animated features at this time. They didn't want anything animated. That is very costly. It requires, well, let me put it to you like this. Netflix has everything they need to make movies, to make sitcoms, not sitcoms, but, to make dramas and such. What they don't have is a studio full of illustrators. Even though the computers do so much of the work nowadays, I don't believe they have a team of illustrators like, say, Pixar or Disney or whatever. So, anytime you do something like that, like, I know this is a crazy example, but it's the only way that I could explain it where I can say you will probably understand. There was a show called Dynasty back in the 1980s. Everybody knows Dynasty. Not everybody knows the Kobe's. The Kobe's was a spinoff of Dynasty. And in order to get the Kobe's off the ground, they started poaching the talents from Dynasty and moving them over to the other show. Both shows suffered. Dynasty was the most expensive series on television. Their budget for a individual episode was staggering compared to anything that had ever come before that. They had a budget more like they were making a mini series and not a television series. That's how big their budget was. Unsustainable. Unsustainable. And so by splitting off or splintering the talent to another show, everybody suffered. Everybody suffered. So my point is, Netflix has a niche with the way they're doing things right now. It would take a lot away from that. So Netflix made a choice at that time. A decision had to be made. Nothing animated. Nothing animated. End of, move on. So this male person, she is talking about something that happened, what, 2-3 years ago? You're still talking about this from 3 years ago? The only reason you could be talking about this is because you expect it to pay off. You're trying to create this public uproar where people will pressure Netflix into developing your character. Now, this lady said she never heard anything from Meghan after writing letters and such. She didn't hear anything from Netflix after writing letters and such. Their response was none at all. So when they said, we're not doing anything animated, girl, why is you still talking? Why is you still talking? And even worse, why are you going to the tabloid media? And so then she pulled that crap about, oh, Meghan is supposed to be a feminist. I expected better from her. Meghan decides who she speaks to, who she responds to. Netflix decides who they are going to respond to. As evident by this whole little hatchet job that they're doing, you can see what would have happened had she gotten any response, which, by the way, according to her, no one has ever gotten back to her. But when you hear the announcement that Netflix has decided to cancel all animated series development, that is the end of the road for you and your complaints against Netflix and your complaints against Meghan. We don't know whether Meghan know that you exist. We don't know if Meghan cares. We don't know if Meghan in any way would ever respond to you. That's what lawyers are for. I was I was absolutely outraged. That really ruffled my feathers. Or what's the other metaphor? That really rattled my cage. I did not like that. Let's see. What's this other comment here? This person left a manifesto. This wasn't just a reply to the professor. This was a flippin' manifesto. So I'm not going to share the whole thing with you, but I didn't think anybody could be more, I guess, pissed off than me. But then I saw this person, and they are not having it. You understand me? They are not having it. So let me bring that up for your consideration. I'm going to try to put a dent in it. Just a little bit. I'm like, oh, Professor, did you really have to do that? And, Professor doesn't always use a thumbnail, right? Well, he used a thumbnail for this one. He definitely used a thumbnail for this one. Let me see. That one is F. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that one was kind of long. They left another comment too. They said, Professor, when we study movies and TV shows, they repeat similar large plots and subplots. There are no errors. Meghan was a published author for 10 years. In the TIG, Meghan had a knack for originating quotes and repeating them by referencing the originating author. The Eleanor Roosevelt quote was placed permanently on her high school graduation photo, something obviously that the very lazy Tim didn't know. Anyway, it continues. Today she repeats her quote. Some accuse Meghan of plagiarism to benefit from her popularity. Okay? They accuse her of plagiarism to benefit from her popularity. And I agree with that. It looks like I thought that one was much longer, but maybe they deleted part of it. I don't see where it was edited. Or maybe that's a different one. Yeah, maybe that's a different one. But anyway, the professor has got a lot of people upset, including myself. I don't cotton too well to that kind of talk about Meghan, accusing her of plagiarizing people. And it was all unsubstantiated. It's one thing to say that someone has stole an idea from someone, but he also included this idea of plagiarism. And if you could have heard the tone in which he said these things, the tone was totally uncalled for. It's like if you were sitting across from him, he probably would have spat upon you trying to get the words out. I'm like, really, Professor? Someone else said, Pearl doesn't exist, so not sure what the point is of this. This is just harassment, Professor, over scrutiny of Meghan's words, and everything she does is bullying. Someone else said, Professor, you seem to have lost your sense of balance, particularly given that you are an academic. You are, aren't you? This piece is way beneath you, in my opinion. You seem to be using Meghan as clickbait, and it just won't do. I would think you could do better research before taking the easy Meghan bashing route. Maybe today you have done a bit of copying of the Daily Mail yourself. The more you spoke on the issue, the more patronizing and pandering you sounded. This is not typical. Oh, I'm sorry, this is not topical. This is not a teaching moment. This appears to be a somewhat self important attempt to gain some sort of additional frame as a critic using a person who has already been much maligned and bullied by lesser persons than yourself. Yet you seem to want to join them. Lesser persons for what? I do not know. Do better. Actually, do the research. Yours was poor analysis and self indulgent prattle. Give it a break. It turns, I'm sorry, it's thumbs down for me. Oh, God, that's small. But yeah, there you go. I mean, there one after the other, there were people in that comment section lighting him up. You hear me? They were lighting that old wrinkled behind up. This is absolutely uncalled for, inappropriate. Oh, I couldn't believe it. Oh, you know what? Where is that at? Uh, okay, never mind. What a silly thing to do. What a silly thing to do. Someone says, let me see. Okay. Wish these people would analyze the other royals like they do Meghan. I'm sure that would be the groundbreaking news. Okay, so there you go, you guys. The professor has really, really, I mean, for such an intelligent person, that was just laziness on his part. Laziness. And didn't I just say the other day that there are so many content creators who do not do their research, who do not do their research. They just kind of half ass go at it. If you're going to say something as salacious as accusing Meghan of plagiarism or accusing her of stealing someone else's storyline, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Meghan is Pearl. Pearl is Meghan. Meghan is this little girl who somehow has found her way through the world, meeting some of the most famous people of our day. I'm sure you can't say the same for that author of the other book, which, by the way, Pearl is not a book for Meghan. Pearl is a concept for an animated series. How many times have we heard two things can be true at the same time? He went on to attack Meghan's United Nations speech. It was just sickening. And the way he enunciated the words, it was just like somebody taking a knife and twisting it. I could not believe it. I could not believe it. It's one thing for him to use all of those highbrow, erudite tone and words that he used, but for him to be so spiteful about it. I mean, it was painful to listen to. And I'm like, Professor, really? When did we start doing this? When I, I kind of have known that the professor is practically ready to crawl in the bed and spoon with Harry. I get that. And that he tolerates Meghan. But it seems as though on this occasion and others, he was looking for some way that he could really drag her. I'm just assuming that he was looking for some kind of way that he could drag Meghan without seeming like he's the one picking on her, that he's just saying what other people are saying. This man has been around long enough to know that the articles in the tabloids have more holes in it than Swiss cheese. And yet he sat there and itemized every talking point, almost word for word, building this case against Meghan. And by him doing that, I would say that was plagiarizing because you did not do the research. And then, if that's not enough, then he made another video speaking about the charity, saying that Harry and Meghan, that they acted poorly, that they should rethink. All of this on the same morning, by the way. If the Sussexes decide to withdraw funding, that is their prerogative. I don't know any other royal that has donated money to a similar charity. That is their prerogative. This the director of this charity was going further and further into a particular, I guess, message that was making other people uncomfortable, and not just people, um, you know, within the charity itself, but just about, well, actually, not just people outside of the charity. I believe there were people within the charity. But she thought that I'm doing this on my own dime. I'm not doing this through the charity. So I'm going to say what I need to say. Okay. There are many other people out there saying it right along with you. And it's not going to happen because you say it. Now, she has a right to speak how she chooses, but there are consequences. I can't say everything I want to say. Is it possible he was paid to do this? He once talked about taking a commission to write a pro Brexit speech. You know, listening to him, he claimed that he was asked to, I don't know what it was, but to write something. And they told him, here, look at this, but make it sound different. This is what he said out of his own mouth. He said that they gave him material that they wanted him to write his own version of it. Look at this, but make it sound like that. And I would imagine that he is approached time and time again where they want him to say this. They want him to add his gravitas, right? They want him to speak with authority. They want him to speak in that tone of the college professor because people would find it more credible. So, as you say, is it possible he was paid to do this? Absolutely, it's possible. Now, whether that happened or not, I don't know. But major side eye, major side eye. And the same thing for, matter of fact, the same thing for Meredith. And where you feel a bit betrayed is that they can say some amazing things. And I'm just going to put all of three of them in the same league. They can say some amazing things the way it needs to be said and when it needs to be said. And then, almost like someone has hit a switch, you start hearing a whole nother voice coming out of their face. Knowing what the Sussexes have been through, I'm going to tell you right now, I am not reasonable. I'm not going to try to add balance to the conversation. The other side, the royal family, the tabloid media, the derangers, they have a standing army of individuals that blanket the airways with the talking points du jour. You got that? They have a whole infrastructure of people that blanket the airways with misinformation. So, am I going to take the time to say, so and so said this, but I believe that? No, I'm not going to aid and abet the enemy. I'm not going to help them. I think Meredith will. I think matter of fact will. And as evident, the professor will. Now, what they call balance, I call shade. I think it's very shady. And I think it's betraying the whole spirit of speaking out for the Sussexes. I'd rather none of them, they could all just not say anything. And I saw the same thing with Bill Maher. I kept trying to warn people about Bill Maher. I said, Bill Maher is the enemy. Bill Maher invites these people on his show. Bill Maher has every problem in the world with the Democrats, but he don't have that same smoke for the Republicans. He's been doing that for years. But because he can say a little joke and make us feel good about this or that, he even donated, what was it, $1 million to Obama's campaign. Maybe he didn't get what he wanted out of it. Maybe that's what the problem is. But Bill Maher is not a good person. But he's convinced a lot of people that the Democrats are the problem. Meanwhile, the other party is looting, pillaging the government. And he does not speak up about it. You got to watch out for these people. You got to watch out for them. And like I said, I will share things from them when they're saying the right thing. It's not that I'm thinking that they've changed or, but sometimes the message is so solid. Sometimes they will find something that nobody else thought of. But then there's the other side of things. So I'm not going to shut any of them out completely. I'm going to take what I need. But this is what I meant the other day when I said, I don't forget. I don't forget. This is not the first time that I'm like, oh, professor, but this is the worst. This is the absolute worst. And twice in the same morning. Twice in the same morning. Well, Meredith Constance has said a lot of things. Like, for instance, um, some articles that are hatchet jobs, clearly a hatchet job, she wants us to take it in as an exercise in journalism. We ain't got time to look at it as an exercise in journalism. We don't have time for it to be thought provoking. Because while we're sitting up here saying, oh, this is a great, well written piece, there are people actively trying to destroy the Sussexes. So I don't have time to be impressed with this thought provoking article. Oh, well, they're just being the devil's advocate. I ain't got time for that. Either you're with us or you're not. That's it. But I don't have time for someone to play the devil's advocate. I don't make room for that. Matter of fact, it's calling what she did reporting. Writing an opinion is an opinion, not reporting. Thank you, Hazel Jones. Writing an opinion is an opinion, not reporting. And they blur the lines. They blur the lines. And when they say they want you to believe that everybody thinks that way. Yeah. You guys, I'm better than some people at compartmentalizing a person's talking points. And I get what they're doing. And like I said, there's a lot of good information that they're capable of. So rarely do I ever just completely shut the person down and I just won't have anything to do with them. But on the other hand, that is what makes it so easy for them to um, create so much confusion that you start second guessing yourself. That's not good. See, they're very well placed, the professor, matter of fact, and of course, Meredith. They're very well placed to sow seeds of doubt and to cause confusion. Now, I'm not saying that that's their intention, but in practice, I believe that's what they're doing. It may not be their intention, but it's definitely happening. Same with Bill Maher. I don't know if that's exactly his intention, but I know that that is the result of some of the things that he's said and done. Gail Tapscott, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Oh, I like this. These people have a superiority complex. to be dismissive of Princess Meghan's contributions. They need to be debunked. They have no superiority when making money off her work. Disgusting. Thank you, Noella. By the way, I love that name, Noella. Yeah. Their judgment may be clouded by the ability to earn money by being hypercritical today and thought provoking tomorrow, playing both sides against the middle. And, let's just say for the sake of conversation, Meredith is approaching these things academically, but she should not be so neglectful and thoughtless and forget that some of the words that she's saying, some of these thought provoking analysis that she provides, is causing harm to someone else's mental health, has the ability to compromise someone else's mental health. You see, what really hurts is when, let's say, it's someone you love. You have been dependent upon that person as let's say as your friend. You have depended upon them to be rational when you can't, right? To explain things you don't understand. Now, when that person turns against you, so to speak, when that person says things that are totally unreasonable, considering that you love and trust this person, you know my story, you know where I'm from, you know what I've been through, and yet you're speaking to me in a tone that hurts my feelings. It's so much worse from coming from someone you respect than someone that you know is a monster. And that's why I have in my life, I've always believed a stranger cannot hurt me. My friends can, my family can, but not a stranger because I don't know that person and that person doesn't know me. But if you know my story and you know my struggle, and still you decided to come at me both barrels, more for your satisfaction than my teachable moment, now I can't trust you. Now I cannot trust you. And that's what it comes down to. We were already skeptical, some of us. Some of us had made up our minds long ago. I'm not listening to that person. And then there are people that are somewhere in between of trust, distrust. So I want to believe that this is some academic expression, but listening to the tone, listening to the spite in his voice, as though he was trying to lecture Meghan real time about her behavior, like she's some daughter who has let down the family, who has been found wanting in her character. I didn't like the tone of it, as though Meghan is the chew toy for anybody who wants to make a successful video. I don't accept that. Plus size fairy, good morning to you. Well, Meredith says that she um, is trying to do something with media. What is that she says? Media something. Gosh, I can't think of it right now. Media relevance, media proficient. Anyway, she wants people to be more analytical of what the media says. Media literacy, that's it. Media literacy. Now, what credentials she has exactly, I don't know. But she says it's something that is, pertaining to that. And as for matter of fact, I don't know what her qualifications is. Um, but she seems to be intelligent enough. Seems to be. Uh, yeah, Marsha, the disappointment doesn't come from the fact that he has shown his other side. That's not the disappointment. The disappointment is for as intelligent as he sounds, that's the disappointment because he knows better. And to listen to him with so much spite and contempt in his voice, that's the disappointment. I don't mind if people disagree, but based on the tone, that made it particularly personal. So, yeah, but he doesn't have to agree with everything I believe and vice versa. But it was the tone. It was, how they have that tone, like Meghan and Harry are a couple of children that just keep misbehaving. Usually, he kind of tones that down enough where you can be convinced that he's just a thinking person. But not today. He wasn't just thinking, he was venting. There's a difference. I listen to words and I listen to what people say and how they say it. And I know when I hear something that's inconsistent. So he could have said what he wanted to say. And also, let me tell you what else is rather suspicious. 17-minute video? You had 17 minutes of frustration in Meghan's behavior to unleash. 17 minutes. Now, if you know the professor, if you know how the rhythm and the length of his videos are, that's an eternity for him. 17 minutes. It was as though he just could not get it out in a way that he trusted that it was making the full impact. So he kept talking and talking and talking. Connie Bomber. Hey, Connie Bomber. Connie Bomber, I'm big mad at the professor. Big mad. He didn't rub me the wrong way. It's one thing to cloak your cynicism in a bunch of big words. But it's another thing when someone of his stature is lecturing Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, who is nobody's fool. That I don't accept. So, whether it's the professor or Meredith or matter of fact or any of them, when a person has a certain level of contempt, they really cannot hide their tone. They just cannot hide it. So, that guy that does the what do you call it? He does the Frank Luntz. Is that his name? Frank Luntz. He's an analyst for the Republicans. Very intelligent man, Frank Luntz. And Frank Luntz uses his access to data that he creates from these surveys and such. But he's a big time right wing Republican, big time. And I remember one day he was on some show and he was trying to sneak in talking points for the right wing. Now, he started off with one tone, and then in increments, he just kind of kept tweaking it in a way where he was endorsing, even though he said he wasn't. And I'm listening to this man. Now, I'm telling you guys, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I know what I hear. I trust my ears. I might not even know the words that you're using, but I know the tone. And I know when someone's trying to be slick. So Frank Luntz loves to pretend as though he's just this, studious person who's good with numbers and statistics and such, when the truth is he is a right-wing hack. I see you, Frank Luntz. I see you. And I'm a pretty passive person. I'm not the most intimidating person. But I always known when I'm around people that cannot be trusted, that they tend to stumble over their words. I don't know if it's the way I'm looking, the way I'm shaking my head, like, uh-huh. You ever have that experience with someone? You have given them no reason to be intimidated or afraid of you, but yet someone who, I'm sure may not think much of me seems to be struggling to find the right words. That's because I pay attention. I pay attention. So I'm not saying that I'm never going to quote the professor again or Meredith. I don't really fool with matter of fact. But the point is, I see you. I see you. So, okay. I'm going to move on to something else. Oh, he also mentioned Pamela Anderson's cooking show. I just could not believe what I was hearing from him today. Thank you very much for the super chat. Yeah, Olivia Johnson. Oh, and thank you for being a member. It was almost dogged. It was like he had, how the dogs play with their little toys, and then it's that one toy where next thing you know it's in shreds. That was him today. That was him today. Today he reminded you that he's not just um, a house pet. He's not just a companion in the family, that he's also capable of being an apex predator. That's what I saw today. Yeah, it was too tempting. It's in the sun, it's in the mail. So he went out of his way to create a thumbnail with Meghan's image to make sure that it was not missed. Now, that being said, you guys, if you go over there, you're going to drive engagement. You're going to help him win. So I suggest you don't do it. Don't do it. Erase him from your watch history because you're going to drive him toward other people in the algorithm. You understand? What I watch is capable of pushing it toward you. So I have gotten a habit of making sure that I delete it from the watch history because the more engagement, the further you can perpetuate. So just so you understand, but I'm pretty sure that you've heard enough. And from the other people that have watched, I'm sure at this point you heard enough. But you adults do what you choose. But I'm telling you, between me and you, it was way out there. There seemed to be, and maybe because he's an academic, maybe because he's a writer, maybe because he has illustrations, just like the lady that he was defending, maybe because he's an illustrator, that he was particularly put off with Meghan. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we got to stick together. Now she's coming she's coming for the illustrators. Maybe that's what triggered him. Is because this lady is trying to develop a cartoon. And who knows? Hell, he might even be in friends with this lady. Something to think about, ain't it? Because I tell you what, he got it in for J.K. Rowling. He really has it in for J.K. Rowling. Now, I'm not going to defend J.K. Rowling. I'm not a fan and I'm not against her. I really don't know much about her. I know a few things that have been said about her stance on, transgender, binary, and all that stuff. And that seems to be one of several ways that people have fallen out with her because of her beliefs. So, one thing I know for certain is he's got it in for J.K. Rowling. It can be very deceptive, you guys. It can be very deceptive. But there are times in life when the enemy walks amongst us and we recognize the enemy. And then there are other times in life when we don't recognize them. And far too often, because of the vitriol that the Sussexes have suffered, and in particular Meghan, if someone says the right things, we're ready to invite them to the barbecue. I get that. I do that myself. But at the same time, you guys, I still listen to the words. There's a lot of people that I will tolerate, that I don't necessarily trust. Is how we get through life in the workplace. Some people you have to tolerate them because they're your coworkers, but you ain't got to invite them over. There's a few content creators that I just can't fool with because it's not that I, you know, it's some people, their spirit is just so disingenuous. I just don't have room. I don't, I can't. I can't. Their spirit is too disingenuous. And hey, I get frustrated too. Sometimes I'll hear some little joke or something like that I said, and I hear other content creators repeat it, and they don't mention my name at all. They just say it as though they were the first ones to say it. Not that it's original, but within this group, you know where you heard it first, right? Within this group, within this, niche genre, you know where you heard it first. Now, one of the things that the professor said that was very valid is that some people pick up things and repeat it as though it was their words. And then some people don't. Some people don't. Some people will give acknowledgement. I like to edit photos. I like to have fun doing that. But time and time you hear me say, thank you to the person who posted this. Thank you to the person who said this. I don't want to take credit for other people's work. Thank you, Angela M64. Oh, Arrington W., you're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. Yeah. This was a big letdown from the professor. I'm tolerant of disagree of people, of people I disagree with. But that tone that he used today is unforgivable. It was absolutely repugnant. That tone, um, much like one of the Royal Rhoda speaking of Meghan like some kind of runaway slave. I did not like that. She's not your daughter. She's not your child, and you don't have a right to speak about her like that. You know, what was I looking at today? Someone said, and and listen, we hear this all the time, where someone is saying, "Oh, I'm just so sick of them. Oh, I just want them to go away. Why are we even talking about this?" And that is the point. If you did not talk about it, you wouldn't have people to come forward and say how angry they are. But the tabloids, they set the tone. They set the tone. They literally say the couple everyone loves to hate. And there are people who internalize that and will repeat that, not even realizing that they have just been fine tuned, that they have just, had their minds fiddled with. They don't even notice the difference. I was so disappointed the other day when I heard someone that I respect saying all these things about the women going up in space and repeating the talking point, people need eggs. That money could be used here, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh my God, you too? You too? That's coming out of your mouth? Yeah. And I was just like, if I thought that that person felt that way on their own, I could accept that. I could agree to disagree. But I'm hearing talking points, one after the other. And I know the difference, especially if I know the person and I'm hearing talking points as opposed to their own feelings about it. Word for word, talking points. I felt like I was in that movie, The Body Snatchers. Like someone just put a pot. Like I just looked, I'm like, oh, there's a pot under your bed. Maybe you shouldn't sleep there. Oh yeah, that happens. That happens. I went through a thing with my thumbnails. You guys remember that? Where someone started using the same style of thumbnail and then they tried to convince me that that wasn't the case. See, it looks different. No, it doesn't look different. All the colors of the rainbow, all of the fonts that are available, and that's the one you choose. Now, there's nothing I could do about it. I could only politely ask that you don't do that. But truth is, that one really bothered me because it's been years that I've been doing the same thing. And I didn't like it really for the fact that it was causing confusion with you all. Several of you had said, oh, I started watching the video and such and such and such and such. That's not fair to you. You start the video and then all of a sudden here comes this mechanical voice. Hell, I've almost clicked on it. I'm like, I don't remember making that thumbnail. Carlene Beckford, the original sin. The original sin, racism. You're so right about that. That is the original sin. And, you know, no matter how intelligent that the professor may seem, let me quote Harry, unconscious bias. And I know a lot of people got on Harry's case about saying that, but it is true. I do believe there's a lot of people who don't see themselves as racist. And I'm pretty sure that they may have friends that are, you know, minorities that will say, well, I've been knowing him for a long time. He's not racist. But the unconscious bias, that knee jerk reaction when you're in a space like an elevator with someone that, let's say, looks like me, someone who looks like that problem that was on the 10 o'clock news yesterday. It's an unconscious bias where you start using a more condescending tone with a particular race, and not just race, but a physical type, right? Sometimes that could be the unconscious bias. Someone that you think is, well, for lack of a better word, dumb. So yeah. But that is brilliant, Carlene. Thank you so much for saying that. It is the original sin. It really is. That is the original sin. especially for these United States of America. That is the original sin. A country that was totally built and still functions on racism, not just classism, racism. Thank you so much, guys. I feel like we have really hashed this one out. And I thank you and I appreciate it because um, I knew how I felt when I you know saw the professor. But this is further validation, and at the same time, it's what we've already known. But tone really does matter. I have blocked a few people from Royal Sussex because of tone. Say what you need to say, but the tone matters. So, okay. Let's see. Let's move on to something else. Now, Brian Tyree, am I saying his name right? Brian Tyree Henry is obsessed with Meghan Markle's flower sprinkles. You know what? If you're going to be obsessed about something, might as well be flower sprinkles. The plan to use them in an unconventional way, let me see. We'll see what I haven't. Okay, we'll see what I haven't put the flower sprinkles on at this point. The actor tells People. I think that's adorable. I think it's adorable. While shooting upcoming thriller Panic carefully in London, Brian Tyree Henry and his co star Elizabeth Olsen bonded over their mutual love of Meghan Markle's Netflix show With Love, Meghan. That's me and Lizzie's jam, Henry tells People. The subject matter will, let me see, with the subject, okay, let me make this bigger. I can't see a flipping thing. Hold on. Okay, I think that works. Bigger, 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 bigger. Okay. With the subject matter we're dealing with on this movie, we've got to find the levity, you've got to find the fun, and we always do that. As a wrap gift, Osen 36 gave Henry 43, there they go with the ages, some of the Duchess of Sussex's signature flower sprinkles from the show. But he has yet to use them. I'm saving them because I want it to be right. You know what I mean? He says, I want it to be on the right thing. Maybe I'll put it in my single skillet spaghetti because apparently you can use it in anything. We'll see. What I haven't put the flower sprinkles on at this point, maybe I'll get a stock order of flower sprinkles so I never run out. I like that. Better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So let me see. Further down the article, it says Henry says he had the time of his life making Panic carefully with Olsen and their co stars Julia Roberts and Eddie Redmayne. They're such remarkable actors, he says. It's amazing to be a part of a project where there's such a kinship and such love for each other's craft and who we are as people. This movie is insane. I can't think of a better crew to go through it with. Let me see. Is he through talking about flowers? Okay, I think that was it for the flower sprinkles. Yes, it was. Okay, so there you go. This guy is obsessed with those flower sprinkles. Hello, Ivy here. Ivy, I wish you would make a video about that Professor Tim Wilson. Oh, okay. Next one. Meghan Markle, photographer, reflects on wild journey to her new chapter. Feels like good old days. Exclusive. Jake Rosenberg, who photographed the Duchess of Sussex for her recent lifestyle brand launch, recently told people that Meghan is getting back to her roots. Okay. Meghan Markle's friend and photographer is sharing an inside look at life with the Duchess of Sussex. Jake Rosenberg, who recently photographed Meghan for her lifestyle brand As Ever, and photos that appear in exclusive interview with People magazine, shared a behind the scenes snap with his longtime pal on his Instagram stories on Sunday. In the sweet black and white photo, Meghan smiles with her hand on Rosenberg's shoulder. Always a beautiful day shooting with Meghan. The photographer captioned the image. Rosenberg recently spoke with People about photographing the Duchess of Sussex and her family, noting that it's been a wild journey watching Meghan evolve over more than a decade of friendship, adding that her latest chapter of getting back to her roots does feel like the good old days. Oh, that's sweet. That is sweet. Aw, look at that. Look at that. I love that outfit that Megan's wearing, by the way. She's got the stonewashed jeans or distressed, white tank top, and of course, the blazer, the sports jacket with the black lapel. That is a pretty cool look. Megan does that look very well, by the way, I think. Okay. Oh, okay. Further down the article, it says she has a way of adding a personal touch on so many different facets of her life. He said of the With Love Megan star, I've witnessed that as a friend, and now she gets to share that with so many people. Okay, let me tell you what Megan inspired in me today. I'm not making this up, you guys. It just came out of nowhere. Okay. So yesterday I talked about the egg. Remember the chocolate egg from Louis Vuitton? I spoke about that yesterday, and I said that this time next year, I am going to be on a cross Atlantic flight to Paris because that is the only place where you can buy that egg. You can't purchase it online. You have to go to the store to buy it. So, inspired by Megan, which that is the real amazing thing about With Love Megan. Megan has inspired so many people to be more creative, not inspired to do exactly what she's doing, but just to be more creative. See there? That is the egg. It is made of chocolate. It is a chocolate purse. And when you crack it open, there's hazelnuts inside. Oh, what a great combination. So I thought, yeah, it's $225. $225. But have a party and invite people over. This is where I start feeling that Megan creativity, right? Have everybody put gloves on because we want to be as sanitary as possible, right? We don't want to pass on the cooties. Have everybody put on some gloves and we smash it. I mean, smash it. And we eat it. But let's say I'm with five other people. We're not going to just eat the entire thing in one setting. get some of those little like Chinese food containers, those little cardboard white boxes, and put the excess in it. Break it up and share it. And that way you can have it with your friends real time. And then later on, they can take the rest of it home. Now, that is brilliant. Now, where did I get that from? Because I've been watching With Love Megan. So, because of that, I have been feeling more, shall we say, creative. Like I want to try to really, how did she say it? Elevate. Like I want to elevate every social situation. So, that's just an idea. That way, you don't sit there and eat the whole thing by yourself. You can share it with your friends and loved ones. And the rest of it can go home with them so you're not stuck eating on it for the next month. So I think that would be brilliant. uh, that's the only way I could justify it. That's the only way I could justify something like that is to share it. So we'll see. We'll see. I guess I better make my reservations now. So hopefully I could save some money, buy the ticket as soon as possible. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's no shortage of people that could what do you call it? Clean his clock out. There's no shortage. Okay. So, yeah, I'm inspired by the Duchess of Sussex. I want to elevate everything. Also, there's Jake Rosenberg on the wedding day. There he is walking right there behind Oprah Winfrey. I don't think he's by himself though. I think his wife is with him. I think his wife is with him. And he has a baby too. But yeah, there you go. 225 pounds. I think it's worth it. And it comes in that box. Mmm. Yeah, I want that. I want that so bad. I think they only come out for Easter. And right here, there's Jake Rosenberg and Meghan. And let's see here. The Duchess of Sussex paid a touching tribute to her creative collaborators who have stuck by her through thick and thin. Jake Rosenberg, Ryan Sachs, Daniel Martin, and, of course, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. And this is what she tweeted when she posted the, not tweeted, but when she shared that on Instagram. She says, uh, before our launch that's what's confusing me, before our launch for As Ever tomorrow, I can't go to sleep without giving a huge thanks to the fellas who have been with me on every creative endeavor for over a decade. We know I love my girl squad, but these boys have been part of my team for what feels like forever. And of course, Jake, Daniel, and the other guy. Let me see. You have supported and believed in my creative vision since the TIG. And here we are, all these years later, creating magic in a different way. Thank you for being the best partners through thick and thin. My heart feels so full. Dream team as ever, as ever. Prince Harry's proud words about Meghan Markle are going viral. Well, we already know what Prince Harry said. But yeah, Prince Harry loves and admires his wife. And I would love to share the article with you, but guess what? I lost it. I cannot seem to find it to share it with you. So in exchange for that, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this instead.
My wife.
My wife.
My wife.
My wife and I.
My wife and I.
My wife and I.
My wife and I.
For me and my wife.
Me and my wife. I'm so proud of my wife.
And my incredible wife.
An amazing wife.
The soulmate in my wife.
Thank you, my love. The mother to my children. The love of my life.
And what I know about the two of them, and I wish the world knew how much they love these two people love each other. They found each other out of all these odds against them finding each other, they found each other, and the love that they have is really, really moving. And I just wanted to do anything I could to support them.
Isn't that funny? Sometimes you know when you meet someone.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you can see like what love is, and
Right.
you can tell right away.
Yeah, yeah. And if I don't have that, what she and Harry have, I don't want it.
So yeah, that's what he said in that article. Love wins. Absolutely. Now, time to drag the Royals. We ain't forgot. We ain't forgot. The Mother's Day photo that changed everything. Okay, the last few days, I've heard a few royal commentators trying to justify this photo again. One in particular did a whole lot of whataboutisms with the Sussexes and with Meghan, right? A whole lot of whataboutisms, right? What about this? What about that? Here's the thing. The reason why the Photoshop of this photo went viral, it wasn't because people were just piling up on Kate Middleton. It wasn't because people were continuing to laugh about this "Where's Kate" phenomenon. Where's Kate Middleton? It wasn't just that. But it does have a little bit to do with why this photo was a huge problem. It was proof of life. It was proof of life. Even some of the most sarcastic, some of the most ardent enemies of that institution, there were squatties that I heard speaking about it on X, formerly known as Twitter, in those conversations, in those chat rooms. And just like me, after dragging Kate from here, there, and everywhere, there was still an undercurrent of, I hope she's okay. I hope they haven't done something to that girl. The squad, the Sussex squad, seemed to care more about her well-being and was genuinely worried for her. I was. You know, I don't hate her. I don't like the fact that she has benefited by using her privilege against Meghan, by elevating her status because of the hate campaign against Meghan. I don't like that. I do not like that. That makes me very frustrated. However, that photo was proof of life. That's what that was. And when that photo came out, it did not prove that she was okay. So while they're being so critical, and he did mention the Sussex squad, while they were being so critical about us and our motivations, at least we did care. We did ask questions that the press should have been asking. And quiet as it's kept, there were several occasions where it seems as though they were concerned. They were equally confused as to her whereabouts. Now it seems like it was all just an elaborate scheme to negotiate the terms of her ascension to the throne. That seems to make a lot of sense. Now, we had to go by way of bad photo editing, untimely turn of the head, body doubles, and also um, the occasional health update, right? The precancerous cells from hell. We had to hear all of this and see all of that before we got there. But up until that point, I'm going to stress this again, that photo was proof of life. Whatever they say, that photo was proof of life. And when you submit a photo that seems like the entire thing is pieced together from other photos, that is a problem. It's not the first time that they've had a ridiculously edited photo. It wasn't the first time, but the timing of it and the absence of Kate Middleton is what made it so problematic. They're changing, they're trying to change the entire trajectory of how we got to that point. They're trying to rewrite the history. They're making it seem as though there was just a few rogue individuals that just had it in for Kate Middleton because they like Meghan instead. No, no, that's not the case. The whole point of it is that photo was supposed to be proof that she was not being held against her will, that she had not been gravely injured by her partner. So don't get mad at us because your standard bearer disappeared without reasonable explanation. And then somebody on her behalf submit a poorly edited photo. That's just asking for trouble. They botched the entire 172-day absence. They botched that. And they want to blame us for their mistakes. Legs is here. Hey, Legs. Legs says KP is doing terrible PR. They then come out with a photo that is manipulated. It is not normal for high profile individuals to disappear. We worried. Exactly. Exactly. And that's why I will never, ever feel like I was unjustified with anything I said, precancerous cells and all. Absolutely not. They botched that. And they want to blame other people. They want to deflect. They want to deflect. But something happened. Something happened. Several things happened. The children disappeared. All but one disappeared for 172 days. From Christmas until Trooping the Colors. They didn't even have enough sense to bring the kids out for Easter. A whole family at one point was off the radar. Now, if you're going to push them in our faces 365 days of the year, like we can't live without them, don't get critical of us when we start demanding to know, where is Kate Middleton? They even had a politician who said, where's the body? Show me the body. How they got away with it for so long is amazing. It's impressive that they were able to make something like that happen. And even though it looked bad, it's kind of like with the president of the United States. I'm more worried about the people who aren't speaking up than I am worried about what he's doing, if that makes sense. I'm more worried about the fact that people are not speaking up. It's that feeling that you have, and I know this for a lot of people is going to go over their head, especially if you're not Black. When you're the only Black person and you seem to be around a group of people that are non-Black, that are aggressive and a bit intimidating. And then there's the rest of the crowd. And so let's say you're being verbally berated by this group. Maybe you're being attacked by this group. I wouldn't be as bothered, mentally by the fact that a few rogue individuals are mistreating me. What would shock and horrify me is that the rest of the crowd did nothing. That would bother me. So you have a whole government, you have the media, among others, and let's just say most subjects of the king who did not seem to be bothered that she was missing. So yeah, I was afraid, not just for her, but for humanity, that people were okay with it. That's scary. I hope all that made sense. Let me see. Lex says they ignored all the signs of abuse the year before. Here, here. The trampoline accident, the dazed and confused look, the gaunt appearance, the seemingly confusion. Kind of like she wasn't altogether there. They were not altogether there. Children that looked particularly angry all the time. If that was any other family, somebody would have called the state on them. If that was any other family, somebody would have called the people. There would have been a well-being check. But because it's that family, nothing happened. And even the tone in which they reported Kate Middleton was begging the question, is she okay? And they said nothing. Nobody would touch it. Not even hog-head Pierce Morgan. Instead, they worry about Meghan's red dress. Thank you, Maggie Ward. The British media don't respect the royals. They protect Camilla and Kate's pass onto. They project Camilla and Kate's pass onto Meghan. It is why Camilla and Kate don't like Meghan. She doesn't have such a pass. Of climbing the social ladder for her wares. Hear, hear. Thank you very much for that. It was a cover-up. Clearly a cover-up. One of the squatties shared these images as a contrast. I repeat, one of the squatties shared this. Get it? All right. Next. And then I'm sharing this again because it was just so darn cute. And I know one of y'all in particular love this image. So I thought I'd share it again. All right, next. Oh, Sophie Wessex and Sarah, Duchess of York. Yes, the two duchesses, the double D's, the two duchesses. The Duchess of Edinburgh and the Duchess of York. How sweet. They're bonding. They have bonded. And you know what? I think that's really nice because especially the one in the long coat, even as nasty and rotten as she can be, um, there are days when I feel for her. I do. And then most times I'm just like, she can go to hell. And as for Sarah, I love Sarah. I do have a soft spot for Sarah. And she seems like such a nice person. She really do. I believe that she and the Duke of York have some severe inferiority complexes when it comes to their daughters. They want the best for their daughters. And it's very frustrating for them because they want their daughters to be equal with the other princes and princesses. In particular, they wanted their daughters to be equal with Harry and Meghan. I'm sorry, Harry and his brother, right? They wanted their daughters to have that same respect, but they could not afford it. They could not afford it. There was no allowance made to them to live up to the level of, you know, William, not Harry, but William and Kate. They wanted the William and Kate level for their daughters. They wanted their daughters to, well, the Duke of York, Andrew, wanted his daughters to be treated with the same respect that Kate Middleton received. He really wanted their daughters to have a role in that slimmed down monarchy. Charles felt otherwise. Charles was not having it. And that was very frustrating. So I don't see Sarah as being greedy and selfish. Andrew, yes. Andrew is quite a tool, but he was set up for failure. Just so you know, aside from all the other stuff that he's been accused of, he was set up for failure because he was supposed to sit idly by and watch his brother flex with that $1 billion duchy. There were no provisions for him like that. And I think that's really unfair that unless you're the next one on the throne, you really do not get access to certain tools within the family. And I don't think that's right. So I think a lot of the shady dealings and such that the Yorks have gone through over the years was not just for themselves. It was to provide for their family. It was like the whole thing about Andrew leaving that house. If Andrew gives up that house, then it's not available to his daughters. They're not going to turn around and make it available to his daughters. So William gets 6 or 7 homes, right? Harry got a basement and a rundown cottage. And the York sisters, well, you better marry well because there's nothing for you in this family. That's very lopsided. That is extremely lopsided. And the Queen was not so generous. The Queen did come off that money to pay off that situation for Andrew, but she really did that for the family. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. What did I miss? What did I miss? Let me go back a little further. Okay. Oh, when is that? When is that? Okay. The podcast drops right now, right? And I forgot what date is the keynote. Yeah, I almost forgot. Harry and Meghan both got something coming up. Let me see. With scrutiny, security, they want Harry and Meghan going around the UK to cheer while they get booze. Oh yeah, they don't want that. They want to manage Harry and Meghan and inform the media when they are there so they can be harassed. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The whole system is so backwards. And they really need to change that. They should have had the York sisters doing a half in, half out. They really should have. I mean, if you think about it, they're doing it now. Come to the garden party. Come to the Thanksgiving. I'm not Thanksgiving, the Easter. Come to the Christmas. Do this, do that. They're already getting something for nothing or for very little. And even with the family stripped down as it is, you still don't use the York sisters? Do y'all know how much more relatable Beatrice and Eugenie are to young people in comparison to Kate Middleton? How much more approachable, thoughtful, and yet they reject them. They reject them. But you know what? Why should that be a surprise? They already had the best possible of all worlds, not both worlds, all worlds, with Harry and Meghan. They shunned him and threw him away. That was stupid. You have never seen girls, career women, girls, young entrepreneurs, humanitarian girls. Have you ever seen them gravitate toward Kate? Never. And the worst part is Kate doesn't care. She don't even care. She has done absolutely nothing to cultivate a following. That girl is stupid or just doesn't care. Being a royal is one of the most amazing platforms you could have. And they have totally mismanaged it. They think these little slick videos with slow motion speed and guitars playing in the background, all of that is supposed to, I don't know, somehow invoke this sentimental feeling about the royal family, about Will and Kate. It does nothing. What happened to that balcony? What happened to that balcony? The balcony, the balcony. What balcony? What am I missing here? What happened to that balcony? Oh. I get you. I get you. That virtually empty balcony. That one. They spend so much, oh, by the way, thank you. They spend so much time talking about Harry and Meghan not being on that balcony, which I'm surprised they ever stopped. I'm surprised that they ever stopped. Let me see if I have that photo. Let me see. Speaking of balcony. Okay, where is it? Where is it? I have one photo that says it all. Hot dog, and I don't see it either. Oh, you know what? I don't think I labeled it properly. But let it suffice to say, it has gone from this to, wait for it. Wait for it. Oh, Lydia, did you get a message? Now you know why I was crying when I started, right? Now you know why I was in tears. Those little bulbous head children, that's what got me. Okay, never mind. I don't see it. I was going to show you this very dramatic image of an empty balcony, but I don't see it. So, oh well, too late. It's been built up too much. Never mind. Never mind. It's not that much fun now. Yeah, too late. Never mind. Okay. I'm going to skip that one then. Oh, there it is right there. There it is. All right, Charles, you got your slim down monarchy. There you go. Is it everything that you wanted from this to this? Oh, man. It must be someone. Oh, by the way, thank you again, Lace. It must be someone in that institution that is sabotaging them. Oh, let me see here. That would be. Oh, let me see here. Okay. Yes, yes, right there behind Kitty, right? No, not Kitty. Who is that with that hat like Kitty wears? Okay. From left to right, the lady in blue, is that Alexandra? Okay, I see Princess Michael of Kent's daughter. That's one of her sons. That's his son's wife. And between the son and the wife with that lilac color on, that's Thomas Kingston. That's Thomas Kingston. That was Thomas Kingston. Mm-hmm. That was Thomas Kingston. Yeah, I forgot he had ever been on a balcony. Interesting. Wow. Charles has really screwed things up. He has. He really has. I'm amazed that they don't evolve. They do not evolve. They are just like, say what you will about Queen Elizabeth and Philip, they evolved the monarchy. Charles is running it into the ground. It almost makes you wonder, was that the point? Charles is running it into the ground. Wow. Interesting. Oh, by the way, you guys, could someone tell Sarah Ferguson that she's back in the family and she don't have to pretend like she's laughing at everything that everybody says? Can somebody tell her that? Look at that phony laugh. Ain't nobody even laughing but her. And she's just like, oh, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Girl, you don't have to laugh at everything they say. You're not going to get kicked out the family. Hell, it ain't enough for y'all to get kicked out. They let you come to the Easter. They let you come to everything now. You don't have to pretend like everything is funny. You know what I'm saying? Just be yourself. Stop laughing at everything. I mean, she's just busting a gut, ain't she? Ain't even that funny. She hugging on to Sophie, laughing at jokes that ain't funny. You ain't got to do all that. William ain't gonna even notice you if you stay quiet. And Charles, he just glad that ain't nobody messing with him. So yeah, she doing too much. She doing too much. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that there was a clear um there was no clear path for her to remain the mother of two royal princesses, right? Even though they were divorced, there was no clear path for her to have a comfortable position. And truth be told, there's no reason why Sarah cannot represent the family. There's no reason why she can't. You have put two adulterous people on the throne. You've already gone as low as you could possibly go. So if Sarah wants to do the work, they should let her do it. If the York sisters want to do the work, they should let them do it. Although I don't think they want to, but they should let them do it. These are modern times. And I just don't think people care about them having private, personal lives where they're doing work that they enjoy. I don't think people care. And use the media. Everything is okay so long as they hear it from the media, right? It's okay to put a fornicator and an adulterer on the throne because the media say it's okay. It's okay to put a human mattress on the other throne because the media says it's okay. So just tell them it's okay. Oh, what's that? Only 8% of the land is accessible to people walking around. Elsewhere, it's almost everywhere. Rome Agreement. Are you talking about the rite of passage for those those like big country estates and farms and stuff like that. Is that what you're talking about? Because I know that like since feudal times that the public has a right to, go through those properties and such to get from point A to point B. So I think that's what you're referring to, right? Yeah. What do you think about the second state dinner, or as Donald Trump say, festival? I think it's ridiculous and a waste of time. Yeah, he was up there. Oh, soon there will be no more balconies. Oh, look at that vicious bowl of jello. The rise and fall of the House of York. That was kind of short-lived, wasn't it? I feel bad for the girls. I do. I feel bad for the girls. I feel bad for Sarah. Um, I think that the girls are it may be better for them in the long run, right? It may be better for them. But to bring Kate Middleton in and to make her, the big standard bearer for the family, and all the other women in the family except for, of course, um, Afro Annie, Princess Anne. They have really been degrading to the York sisters, and they've been doing that for a long time. They have allowed people to be very malicious and abusive to the York sisters, and the palace. I don't think there's ever been any pushback, but I think the press has been very cruel to them. Now, who was that the other day who said that Andrew had to try to squeeze into his suits? I saw this and almost fell out the chair. I screamed when I saw this. I forgot who said it, but somebody was saying you better try to get squeezed into those suits or something like that. And then I saw this picture today. I said, Lord Jesus. Sussex Team Warrior, you make a very, very good point there. It is probably safer for them. It is probably safer. And for their children. Yep, you're absolutely right. For them and for the sake of their children, it's probably better to stay as far away from the other people as possible. Damn, did he break that tie pin? Did he break that pin? You see how the pin is all lopsided? Good Lord, what did he do to that pin? What is that? Does anybody know what that is? And you see how tight that shirt is? My rear tires are under less pressure. Holy cow. Ooh. It's a good thing he wearing that necktie, because if not, one of them buttons could blind someone. Jeez. And to think that he'd be getting up on them horses, crawling up on them po horse. That's all I can say is po horse. I feel sorry for the horses. that they're being mounted by him. Are you okay? I'm okay. Yeah, he was probably sweating, even though he say he doesn't sweat. He had probably broke out in a big sweat trying to put that tie pin on. And then it's lopsided. Could he not see down there? Okay, you guys, I got just one more slide and then I'm done. I got one more slide. Congratulations to Prince William and Princess Kate. 14 years wedding, marriage, 14 years. They're celebrating their 14th wedding anniversary in the country where it all began. Wasn't it Scotland where they met? Anyway, what could I say? He picked a winner, right? He has picked a real winner. He has he's grabbed the brass ring. That's right. He's managed to grab the brass ring. Yes, indeed. He has he's not just got a wife, he has a see-through dress model. How intrepid. How clever of him. Yes, someone who is just as comfortable spending the night out with Sir Richard Branson as they are serving drinks on a yacht. How enterprising. It almost makes you think there was no one else available. Wait a minute. There was nobody else available because nobody else wanted to marry him. So he won the prize, the big prize. Kate Middleton, one of the most popular girls at school. Now, for what reason, I'll let you figure that out, but very popular. Well, thank you, Sussex Team Warrior. Yeah. Well, you know what? Andrew will not. Well, okay. If he leaves that, the thing is, once Andrew is gone, there'll be no upkeep from that house. I doubt if Beatrice and Eugenie will be able to afford the upkeep because the house has what, like a 99-year lease or something like that. So that is supposed to be their family home. And Charles was trying to take that away. Charles purchased a $3 million property for Camilla and her kids, right? So what does Andrew have to leave his children? Because Edward, I don't know if y'all saw Edward and Sophie's house, but it's nice. And also, what's her name? Afro Annie. She's got that nice house. But Andrew, look at it like this. If they take that house from him, what does he have to leave his daughters? He certainly ain't got no money. That must be a very painful place to be. Now, I'm going to bet you that Sarah Ferguson, Sarah Duchess of York, I'm going to bet you that she's got some money stacked away for those girls. And maybe it's, both of them are working on it together. But I'm pretty sure at this point that the Yorks must be trying to put some money away as an inheritance for them. I mean, they were going to be okay, whatever, but still, I am pretty sure that Sarah and Andrew want to leave something more than just a rundown manor house. Even the Queen's dogs, they're ready to leave. Yeah. Okay. Okay, you guys, I think that'll do it. Thank you all so much. And well, let me see here. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, at this point, I'm not holding out that Kate is ever going to be any different from how she is, but I think she's a mean girl. I think she's quite entitled. And I still, I feel like probably Meghan probably thinks about this sometimes. I'm pretty sure Meghan probably feels like it's too bad we could have been friends. I could have been there to help you. I could have supported you. But instead, well, things turned out different. But it's a lot of pressure. Either way, it's a lot of pressure. Um, Kate was intimidated by Meghan, so it probably made it easy for her to be so hateful because of the intimidation. And let's face it, Meghan is quite intimidating. Meghan is quite intimidating. Especially to someone who lacks so much like Kate. That's intimidating. A lot of people in that household, whether it was the family or the staff, they were intimidated. So they built a case against Meghan. And they probably were determined to run her away. But as Harry said himself, they just did not bank on the fact that he was going to leave with her. They wanted her gone, but they just could not accept the fact that Harry was going to walk away from it. Oh, God, I bet you. I could just imagine how that must have felt. You have a $1 billion duchy, right? You have a wife that, well, what could I say? She ain't gonna give you much trouble. You have your children, you have all of these things going for you. You're the next in line, and your brother walked away and left. That last ingredient of success. Harry will do it. I'll ask Harry to do it. Send Harry. That's Harry's job. They don't have that anymore. I think that it is genuine anger. It is just genuine anger at Harry for leaving. And the best way to hurt Harry is to come after his wife. And it's easy to go after his wife because they didn't have much respect for her in the first place. Oh, you're quite welcome, Lydia. Oh, and by the way, I did get that thing you sent me. Thank you so much for that. It's the only one I got this year. The only one. So I'm going to treasure it. Thank you so much for that. Oh, you're talking about the chalet. I think the Queen bailed them out. the Queen didn't give it to him. I think she bailed them out. I think they bought it, but I think the Queen bailed them out. But if I'm wrong about that, somebody please hop in. But I don't believe the Queen just gave it to him. I believe that there was a huge amount of debt, and the Queen was trying to cover up the embarrassment of it by throwing some money at it. I don't think the Queen would have ever consented to them owning a ski chalet. Uh-huh. Yep, coming over there dressed up like it's Easter morning for a little dinner around the corner in a rundown cottage. Yep. It's not like they were invited to some great hall and tea room and such. It was just Nottingham Cottage, a worker's cottage. Didn't she though? God, it must have been so um I think that Kate must have been like incredibly, she must have felt really small in Meghan's presence. Very small. Extremely, because Kate don't tolerate other women anyway. Kate does not. When was the last time that Kate has been in any social setting, anything, with a well-rounded, educated woman? She does not do that. Kate is more comfortable going to like little events with her kids where there's just town folk. She's comfortable with that. But someone who is intelligent, bright, accomplished, self-made, she don't want to be around nobody like that. She don't have to. She don't have to be inspired because 14 years ago, everything was provided for her. Everything. So she don't even have to try hard. No, Baron, the chalet was auctioned to someone else because Andy hadn't finished payment. Oh, okay. Okay. I think I remember that. So the important point is that the Queen did not buy it outright. But I know they couldn't afford to keep it. That's a great point. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Kate would have so much more support from women. She would have so much support. The only women that are into Kate Middleton are pensioners, baby boomers, that are massive monarchists. But other than that, she really does not have an audience. She has no following. None. It doesn't speak much for the time that she's been in that family. 24 years she's been hanging around that family. 10 years before marriage, and then another 14 years. She's been around that family for about 24 years. Yep, for 24 years. Okay, you guys, that was that. But we're gonna definitely let me see. Oh, I want to take this back to the top. There we go. Okay, where's my picture? Oh, this is kind of slow. Huh. Okay. Is that it? Oh, oh well, it's kind of slow. There we go. All right, y'all heard cookies and cream. Do it, do it, do it. And don't forget, it is a new episode. It is Tuesday. There's a new episode of Meghan's podcast. Do enjoy it. Listen to it thoroughly so we can have a great discussion about it. I'm trying to get a sneak peek to see who is the person. Oh, by the way, you guys, the tabloid media has been out in force trying to defend Andrew being at the Easter. Even Arthur Edwards and a few other people, they're trying to normalize Andrew again. I don't know why, but it seems as though Operation Normalize Prince Andrew is taking place right now. They got a lot of people on the British morning shows defending him. Arthur Edwards was on Loose Women. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm still here. I was just trying to figure out who's on the latest podcast. Does anybody see it? I don't see it. Maybe it's not up yet. Oh, they already got pictures of the Pope. Yeah, they already got pictures of him in his coffin. That was fast. That poor man, he looked like he was in so much pain. It ain't fun when you can't breathe, that's for sure. Okay. Well, that was fast, but I guess it don't take that long. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hmm. Okay. This is what's up. Now, when you hear me say, "Oh, I can't find it," I'm trying to figure out who's the next person on the on the podcast. I keep looking because I'm like, okay, well, somebody else then probably found it. I don't see it. Is anybody even looking? Yes? No? Maybe? Okay, I'll look myself. Don't worry about it. I got it. I'll find it. Now it's limonada. Okay. Okay. Confessions of a Female Founder. Is this the new one? Let me see. Oh, okay. I see something here. Let me see here. I don't know if that's the new one or not. I'm trying to open it up. The Long Game, Girls with Code. No, that's not the new one. Okay. Okay, I don't think it's up yet. It's not up yet. Okay, sorry, never mind. Sorry, never mind. Oh, maybe that's what I'm looking at. Yeah, it's probably not up yet. Okay, sorry. I just thought y'all was ignoring me, so that's why I was just like, okay now. But okay, so it's not there. All right, I stand corrected. Sorry. Let's see, Baron, I do believe that the Pope will be in state for 10 days, then buried. I'm not Catholic, but that's what I heard. Okay. Oh, and by the way, you guys, he's going to be buried at a different church. He's not going to be at the Vatican. He selected a different church. And I think I went to that one when I was in Rome. But yeah, it's a different church. Now, that's not fair because neither one of them are here to defend themselves. That is so unfair. And I've always tried to be fair and just and virtuous whenever possible. And so, for that reason, I'm going to reach out to Kensington Palace so that we can get comment from Kate directly.
Well, obviously, it'd be. I would love to have met her, and she's obviously she's an inspirational woman to look up to. Obviously, on to this day, and going forward and things. It is. It's a wonderful family. The members who I've met have achieved a lot, and very inspirational. So, yeah, I do.
Okay, well, that says it all. No, I really do mean that says it all. because very wonderful, achieved a lot, and going forward and this and that. Well, we got to go forward, don't we? I would love to see her at a parent teachers conference. I would love to see her at a parents teachers conference. That's got to be memorable, surely. What's that? Make sure you check out some of my. Oh, okay. Okay, we'll do. Will do. Okay, cheers, y'all. I'm going to say good night.